Hello everybody, Jack Plehall, founder of Being Solutions. I want to walk you through something that relates to this model you may have seen before, where the results that we're looking for, driven by the actions, driven by our planning and our structures, affected by our emotions, which are given by our mindsets. A couple things to keep in mind. First off, when we're working in organizations, we're actually talking about networked mindsets. So we're not just talking about a brain, we're talking about many brains affecting each other. I think you get the point. More of that, more of that, more of that. So what we're also talking about here is massively networked emotions, the true cloud, if you will. That's the real cloud we're dealing with. We're also talking about great many more plans, action lists, in many cases, systems that are interlocking with other systems. Not the best drawer in the world, guys, but you get my points here. Many actions multiplied. So what I'm trying to get here is, the larger the organization, the more multiplied the complexities, overlapping targets, what have you. But one thing we want to keep in mind here is, in the case of business development initiatives, there's really one major thing we've got to pay attention to. Customer is king. This is what we're measuring ultimately. Now, in some cases, it could be an internal customer. If you're a marketing person, ultimately, your customer is sales. Unfortunately, in that case, I'll be blunt, in some cases, you've got a disgruntled, but also a somewhat misinformed customer in many cases. So inside of that is being able to have a partner either internally like the CEO or externally like a consulting organization that understands the requirements of both organizations to create a happy customer. Because a big part of this is a customer ought to be able to give instruction to help the actions to align and get them to their result. Longer conversation on that, but the actions, really what we're talking about in the case of large-scale structural change in organizations, CRM systems, marketing management and action systems, measuring the results, informing the actions, getting us closer to the bullseyes on what it is that we're looking to hit with regard to our initiatives. But what's interesting here is things don't change a lot in the highly leverageable area based on that. You've still got a binary system where either people's opinions and actions are sourced primarily by essence or survival mechanism in the individual and the team and in the organization. Furthermore, in the area of mindset, the mindsets are getting reset and reset based on what's happening. Either you're getting some essence-based feedback that's then likely bouncing back, essence-based feedback that is then reinforming and energizing the system from an essence base, or counter to that, and you've got a customer or customers, internal or external, that are giving you feedback that is actually putting more stress on the system and putting things at risk. So the point I want to get to with all this is this. As we see it inside of Agile project work, we are looking much more to partner with our clients. We have some increasingly complex opportunities that we're working through with many different action charts, Gantt charts, responsibilities, multiple systems being implemented. And the only way that we can do that as a small company is to really partner with that network brain with our clients, make sure that we're getting very clear on what our priorities are, and the foundation 1 through X. We got our 3 to 5 core things we're paying attention to, nailing in the end, so that we're really clear and that we've got a strong level of partnership and reciprocity, so that we're really clear that the foundations that we're going to work under in mutual support, because there will be bumps. There will be times when, where you don't hit center and you hoped you'd hit center, you might miss the target altogether, and those partnerships and those relationships and clear priorities are going to make a big difference. Finally, as you're doing the work, clarifying what you can, taking your actions, and measuring what you got going on, and your feedback loops on the way that that's going, the deep and strong communication between client and partner is really necessary, because you can't be agile with it. If you've got a complex organization and a big change to make, you actually can't expect somebody to come from the outside and have all the answers. Maybe that works in some cases when you hire a multi-billion-dollar consulting organization that comes in with its big, beautiful leather binder. But I also know situations where even having that information, and sometimes that information is amazing, and maybe sometimes it's not so amazing, but even if you were to, as a smaller organization with a few million, $10 million in revenue, you may not be able to pay for that level of information out of the gate. So what you have to do is do things in layers, where we're going with our best educated work toward the target with relationship, and really you're ongoingly updating. You've got to get your requirements set up for these systems. You don't want to be buying multiple systems. You may test multiple systems, but you want to get your requirements. These are little tiny R's. When you're looking at your marketing system, at your CRM, you want to get those requirements clear. So you know where you're going, you got your organization assessed, you got your targets clear. But really it's a process of layering, where we're taking and picking our top actions and putting them into play, seeing how close we come, re-informing, re-networking our brains. Because in mastermind theory, if you've read Think and Grow Rich or other books, together, when we bring our brains together, we can then settle ourselves, assuming we've got a good working relationship and good communication, and we continue to have aligned goals, and the marks are getting close enough, what it looks like to be in a strong, agile partnership between consultants and clients, or internal customers and internal clients and internal service providers. What you're essentially doing is creating a strong loop where, if you continue to clarify these actions, communicate well, refine your requirements well, and implement, you will create a positive feedback loop and a positive cycle. Now, if you were continually missing the mark, you really got to take a look at where's the breakdown. It may relate to communication patterns and really the ability to have a partnership and a match from a human-to-human standpoint. Very senior executives or very well-trained consultants we will tend to be really good at working with a lot of different people. We will get we will have our tendencies toward who we really like to work with over time. But in organizations, internal organizations, you generally won't have people that are well-trained, and you may have mismatches inside of communication. You may have lack of clarity around priorities, which is very often an issue, and ultimately accountability to measuring the results, which ultimately is one of the biggest breakdowns in organizations. If it's not this, you're basically not necessarily even measuring. Yeah, where are we hitting? Where are we not hitting? And feeding back and getting back into the feedback loop, the conversations, and retroing the systems. The takeaway from all this is this: the more complex a system you're working to build, with as small an investment up front as you can give, which with the size of organizations that we tend to target mid-market, anywhere from a few $1 million to or $20, $30 million in revenue, and really wanted to scale that up, you don't want to do heavy investment up front. You want to stay lean, you want to stay light, and test things. Why? Well, you might not end up having a relationship match. And you also don't want to necessarily make major investments up front. So you got to stay lean, keep strong network of your knowledge from inside of your markets, inside of your people, using external assessment tools, which You can probably call those one of these systems, HRM systems, or related assessment systems for HR, which is going to be one of the, a very big responsibility for scaling organizations is to clarify those HR systems to support this as well. Slices, be agile, communicate, measure. Assure that you've got your top priorities clarified. Work on the relationship, work on the communication. This is the way to agile business development. Hope this has been helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Jack at Being Solutions. You can reach me on Twitter at BizDevJedi. Looking forward to connecting again soon.